Hello everyone, welcome back and welcome to another video here on this channel. Today I've brought along our good friend Pasha once again. As you may remember, Pasha works at Plarium as a game designer for Mech Arena, and today he'll be joining me to talk about some exciting news regarding the meta and the overall gameplay experience. Stay tuned, this is going to be interesting.
Hello guys, glad to see you. Hello Hypho, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Nice to see you again.
Hello Pasha, it's great to see you back on the channel after all these months. How have you been?
That was quite a busy month, but yeah, everything's all right, and we've brought some cool news, some information that we'd like to share, and I hope that you guys like it.
Yeah, we've got some really interesting news for our community today. I'm really looking forward to discussing them with you. Yeah, the first topic concerns the meta. It's about to become a more diverse meta. So can you tell us about that? What exactly do you mean by making the meta more diverse, and what's the reason behind this decision?
Yeah, I think that the second question is even more important, really, because okay, I don't even know where to start from, but let's start with what we have. So we all know that the situation on the in the game with balance of some content is not really okay. We can hear that the players are not really satisfied with, first of all, some content, some weapons and mechs being quite overpowered, let's say frankly. Actually, you don't really have a lot of options to choose from if you want to win the game. And we've been thinking of it quite some time, and we had to come up with some more systematic decision on how to operate these things. And thus, we decided that we would like to create the more diverse and more wide things that will perform quite great. There are a couple of ways of how game designers can handle these situations. I'd say there are probably, what I know is more than 10 ways of how you can do it, but we had to find the solution that would be suitable for us. And in order to make this meta diverse, we firstly need to deal with some outliers. And you all guys know them, you Hypho know them as well. So this is the Revokers, and this is the Eclipse and Surge. These guys are being extremely OP for quite some time, and actually what players do is like put in those two in hangars and put in Revokers on almost on the stuff that they have in the hangar. And of course, this is understandable, because if you want to win, you have to use this content. And we decided to fix this situation a little bit. And there would be a couple of things that we'll need to do in order to fix it. First of all, we need to cut down these outliers a little bit to make them more to make them meet the other content, and to be like more of a contestant for other content, not so overpowered. Yeah, so probably will fix, not probably, we're actually doing it. We're fixing Revokers, Eclipse, and Surge a little bit. But before you all guys get like super frightened about what's going on, we don't really want to make this content unplayable. Believe us, because we did this content. Some of them I did like with my own hands, and I like it a lot. And it's not about that we would like to like make it like completely unplayable, or like in some way devaluate your investment in this content. What we actually want to do is make them like com- make them able to compete with other content on the same level. So, but in this regards, we would also need to put some really massive buffs upon lots of other content in the game, which is a really great news. And both these factors will make the number of choices that players have to that players have, like when they're choosing what to put on their hanger, will increase dramatically.
Okay.
Ooh. Yeah, that's just in a couple of words, but we'll probably dig deeper into some of the details.
Okay. So you've decided to focus more on buffs rather than nerfs.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great, and yeah, it sounds very, very promising, to be honest. But what was your motivation for focusing more on buffs in the first place?
Actually, I think that we don't have that much of an overpowered outliers on the like higher end of the meta. It's basically these things that I've mentioned. I think that if Revokers, Surge, and Eclipse will be less effective, there will be a lot of other options to counter them and to play around. And plus, we're adding some more weapons and mechs. Some of them have been released like some really, really long time ago. For example, I've always dreamed of like slightly improving the Gate Crusher, because it was one of the first mechs that I have done like on this position working on the content. And when I was working on them and on Gate Crusher, and when we released it, some time has passed, and I'm like, well, this projectile speed when he shoots his like iron blast thing is really not that high, and it's not very convenient to shoot from the long distances. And I was living with this for a couple of years, and now I have a chance to make the Gate Crusher great. And yeah, so probably, yeah, there are a lot of content that we're going to buff, and it will be some really cool buffs. I can probably, if you have something in mind, you can ask me about what's about to change, because there's so a lot of them that I don't even know what to start with. I think there will be like 4 times more buffs than nerfs, something like that.
Yeah, four to one.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and to get back to the topic of nerfs for a moment, you've mentioned that nerfs will be handled in smaller, more gradual steps from now on. Why take that approach? Why smaller changes instead of bigger sweeping adjustments?
We actually just wanted to not to make such dramatic changes with when taking like some stats off, to let players get used to it a little bit. And yeah, basically to avoid the feeling that like everything's getting like much worse, which in fact is not. So we just decided like to balance these things, to make smaller portions of nerfs and the bigger portions of buffs, which should like be more pleasant and should be more like okay with the players.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So yeah, since we're already informing the community about these changes, that means you've already been working quite extensively on diversifying the meta. What kind of player feedback or data did you use as a foundation for designing these changes?
Your videos, other content creators' videos, posts on the forum, like basically everything that community is like given to us, every player's feedback. I mean, like not like each one of them, but each source of the player's feedback that we can work with. In-game chats, forums, comments, tickets, everything that we have. We've gathered and analyzed it for quite some time. Plus, of course, we were looking at our like internal analytics where we see what weapons are or mechs are the players playing on. What's the MVP rates, skill death rates for these weapons? How many of you guys like pick them into battle, upgrade them, and stuff like that? There were lots and lots of data. Both these sources helped us to like identify the outliers, which are like super OP, which actually everyone already knew, and it actually helped us to buff some really cool content which has a really nice potential in the game, like for example, I know mimicker mech, which is kind of very interesting to play, but sometimes it lacks his like survivability, so we slightly worked on that thing. Or yeah, I think that's the answer. That's it.
Okay, that sounds like you really put a lot of thought into not just the game, the changes themselves, but also into how to approach them.
Yeah, exactly. Because yeah, it would be really strange if we would just like would like to make this, and this to up them, to buff them, and yeah. So actually, we were looking at the data from all the sources that we have. So thank you guys a lot for passing this feedback to us. And we're kind of little bit sorry that it took so much time to actually get to fixing this issue, but we're here, so
yeah.
let's go. Let's go.
Okay, but in the past, certain rebalancing decisions have caused some weapons or mechs to become noticeably weaker. For example, Tengu or Zephyr or mechs like that. In some cases, it even felt like certain equipment was no longer playable at all. How do you plan to avoid that happening again as part of this meta diversification?
Well, I guess that's one and a half thing to consider here. First of all, we're more careful with the nerfs right now, and we're carefully play testing the changes. Like we take some stats off and we get into battle and see if you can still like be effective with this content. In some ways, I would say that the gameplay changes, but it doesn't really mean that that it becomes unplayable. For example, let's say if Eclipse has to be walking in his stealth not so long as it does now, it doesn't mean that it's getting like super ineffective or or um or weaker. It's more about that you will need to manage the timings better, and you won't be able just to go in stealth, run the whole through the whole map, get 3 4 kills, and that's it, and get the MVP. You'll probably need to like get into stealth, fight 1 or 2 mechs, get to safety, and really um, rely on that timings. So yeah, we'll be stealther, but not the like invisible killing machine.
So everything you do is very carefully. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's the first thing. And secondly, we pair it with the new content that we put buffs on. And we actually also look at the numbers on time to kill and how on the damage output on some like usefulness of some particular mechs or weapons. And yeah, I think that pretty much that's it.
Okay. Okay. So, let's talk about the next spring.
Yeah,
Next spring there is something like new seasons, I heard,
exactly.
which will include this more diversified meta. Can you tell us a bit more
Hmm.
about these upcoming seasons in general? What will it look like, and yeah,
Yeah,
what does this means for the community? Or in other words, what can players look forward to when the season starts in spring?
I would be really happy to tell you guys about that. Uh, and that is actually the answer to your like initial questions of why are we doing these rebalances and why do we need to like fix the situations on the server with the balance. And the answer is the seasons. Uh, all these rebalances that we were talking about will probably need to take place before the season starts, so you can expect them to like go live uh, pretty soon. And there will be some releases of these rebalances. We'll give you like some groups of content that are getting buffs, and some small nerfs to the things that we already talked about. Um, and when the situation with the balance is fixed, we're ready to launch our new approach to handling the meta. And not only meta, actually, the way that we distribute the content will change. Um, yeah, so we would want to come to the 3 months seasons. So there will be 4 seasons in the year, just like with the weather stuff, like winter, spring, and so on. Yeah, 3 months will probably lower the number of content that we're releasing, because we don't really think that there's the necessity of having like so much content. But don't like panic. Each new season, the players will have a new mech and a new weapon with like different unique mechanics. Um, so we're like slowing down with the content, because I think the reason behind that is probably we also need to tell you is that I don't see why players would need that much different mechanics, because they have already a lot of them right now, and will probably need to think of why do players need to have this new content, and that would be the task that we would be working on after the season's release, I guess. So yeah, and I think that the most important thing about seasons is that is that things that I mentioned, the operate and the meta. We will. Um, I think that we can think of it as of a server boost. So this new content that will be released in the new season, a new mech and a new weapon, they will be by default slightly server boosted. I don't know on what like percents. We're still testing it. I think it will be just slightly better, not to make it like it's not the difference of reworkers versus I don't know like uh, overdrivers or or repeaters right now. It's more like a overdriver versus Oracle. I don't know, probably like 5-10% uh, higher, like or better, let's say. So that's the first thing. Then we'll have some of the existing content that we have in the game. Let's say, I don't know, miniguns or overdrivers, and they will also receive this season buff for these 3 months. Uh, and after the season ends, these contents that have been in this season will like lose its server boost, so it will lose like 5-10% of their effectiveness. And in the new content, the new season will like operate the same way. The new content will be slightly server boosted, and some other content that in the previous seasons but existing content in the game will also receive some server boosts. Will be both mechs and weapons, but will be like several of them, not too much. Like I know a couple.
So
let's say.
So it's a little bit like the modifiers.
Yeah, like the modifiers exactly, but they will be longer for 3 months. And the whole idea was to create the different environment inside the season, so that each 3 months, like when you like enter the game, you see that something have changed. The new content is like more playable, more good, and something like that.
Okay, great. Sounds very promising.
Yeah, we really hope so, because it will probably lead to changing strategies how the players play during this season, from season to season. So that's our like main goal to achieve.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I think not. I think I'm not just speaking for myself, but for many other players as well, when I say that we are really excited about what's coming. And yeah, I can't wait to see it all in action, to be honest.
Thank you. Hopefully this like works out as intended. But also we'll probably monitor the meta more closely, starting from the first season in the spring. And if we see that like any of our plans like go wrong, we will make some corrections in the next season. So we would really like them to diverse from each other. So
yeah, very good. Yeah, that was my last question. I don't know if you have something more to tell. That's your part.
I guess that pretty much that's it. What I probably want to tell is that we're really excited, looking forward to these changes, because we actually really want to give you guys a larger opportunity, larger number of content to choose from, and make them like equally playable. So we touched like a lot of things, and hope that you guys check it out, play test it on your end, say whether you like it or not, and drop us a feedback. We'll check it out, and probably we'll make some adjustments to that, because I think that we'll probably be more open to such kind of feedback in the future. And yeah, that's it. Looking forward to the great changes.
Exactly. Friends, I hope this little special was both informative and entertaining for you. Show some love in the comments for Pasha and the team at Plarium, who are doing their best to improve our gameplay experience. Thank you, Pasha, for your time. It was a pleasure as always.
Same. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Thanks for having me. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you, guys. We'll see each other on another video. Until then, take care.